And we're live. There you go. Hi, Banksy.
Hello, my darling Miss Amy K. It
How
has
are
been a
you?
long time coming.
Yeah, it really has. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that anybody was interested in talking to me. I was like, oh my God, this is great. It's
Why
been a
not?
while.
Everybody wants to talk to you. Are
I don't think
you
that's the case, actually.
you have a following that is beyond your comprehension, I think. I think you have
Really?
not realized how big a following you have around the world.
I feel like,
Uh,
no, come on now. I feel like it's relatively small if you're talking about
I,
YouTube, but it's never
I
my concern. Is that something you care about?
No, I just sometimes it surprises me who has actually seen my video when people say they've seen my videos. It's like, oh my God, I didn't really think you would be, you would even click on anything that I do. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it does surprise you, catches you off guard that certain people that you would never think that have seen your videos, they've seen your videos.
Yeah.
So then you sort of think, oh my God, all the horrific things I've said.
Yeah, me too. I've said some, if you just let yourself go and you allow yourself to talk and say stuff, you're
Mm,
gonna let your brain spill a little bit.
yeah.
Isn't that
But
the
I
fun
think
of it?
it is though. This is like therapy for me.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I get it off my mind and then it's not bugging me as much as it could be if it's just
Exactly.
cramming up there and just
Exactly. I
creating
mean,
scum.
you're obviously you won a lot of people's favor the way you debated vegan gains and the
Oh gosh.
genius of eating a steak whilst debating a vegan. Did you set that? In all honesty, did you set that up that way, or was it just
That
totally?
that
Is
steak
that?
idea was actually a suggestion from a really good friend of mine.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
was
I was
genius.
just playing with the idea too, but I thought at the end, yeah, it would just be comedic genius to add
It
to the
was.
whole thing.
It was absolutely perfect.
He
It
was
was
so
the
upset
most.
about it too.
Oh, he was. This is the thing. It doesn't take that much for that guy to kick off. Anyway, that all that creatine, roid rage just built up in his veins, with lack of real protein.
Yeah, I mean, he really tries to project that he's this like calm, rational, put together guy, and then under just a little bit of pressure, he's cracking so
Oh
badly.
God, I feel bad for that. I think that dog one day will like get the full force of his roid rage.
Oh my gosh. I
God
don't think
help
they
that
have that
poor
dog
dog.
anymore, do they? They
Oh, they
have to
don't
give
have
it
the
back.
dog.
I think they have to give it back. I don't quite remember. It
Oh,
was quite some time ago, but
lucky dog.
yeah, poor
They had to
thing.
give it away. Hopefully, he's eating a nice piece, juicy piece of steak.
Yeah. I think they had to cave eventually and start feeding it actual meat because they were showing video of it later, but
It was ill. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's literally cruelty to
Of
animals that are
course.
carnivores.
That's what was so funny about the whole thing. It's like you're lecturing people on how to treat animals and how to behave, and look at your own behavior first.
Yeah, you're treating. You can't. This is a carnivorous animal. It
Mm.
literally has evolved with canines and enzymes in its stomach. Its entire existence is to eat meat.
Mhm. It's a
It's
predator. It's a hunting
It's
animal.
yes, it's an absolute predator.
It's
It's like
crazy.
everything about this animal has been evolved to eat meat, hunt it down, tear it apart, and eat it.
Oh my God. So speaking of crazy vegans, there's this guy in Toronto who's a firefighter who apparently says it was against his human rights because there's no vegan food available in emergency situations.
Are you?
And I'm like, yeah, it's you just hear one story every now and again, but it always seems to be just the most ridiculous story you could possibly imagine. Like
Oh,
it's anti-human rights to not have vegan food. That's kind of a
that's
luxury sort of thing, you know?
that's part of your human. I wonder if you dropped him off in the Amazonian jungle, how much of his human rights would be violated.
I know. Like
I'm pretty sure he would resort to eating whatever the hell he could find very quickly.
no kidding. It's so crazy to think that people are in a position to be like, this is my demand. And if you don't meet my demand, this is a human rights issue. Like, that's how I picture them saying it too, with just that snooty attitude.
This this is this is why I mean, years ago I was gonna make a video about vegans. I never really had time. I never got down to it. I even started like scripting something, but
Mhm.
never finished it. And it was I was gonna compare. I was gonna show videos of like Buddhists and Jains and some Hindus and say, look, these are vegans and no one hates these vegans because
Mhm.
they're not assholes.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, then show a picture of like vegan gays or these modern European type vegans. Everybody hates these vegans
Yeah.
because they're assholes.
The internet vegans, there's like a brigade of them.
Yeah, this just they're such snooty, self-entitled, self-righteous pricks. Like,
Yeah, and they're
I'm
stuck on
sorry, I
retweets
swore. I don't
too.
know about your channel's swearing rules.
Oh, no, it's okay, there are none.
Cool, cool.
You know me, I just talk.
Yeah, yeah, I figured you'd be cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, you were saying, sorry.
We were talking earlier before we started on this whole thing about attention, like attention seekers. I
Yeah.
I think the effect of the amount of attention you can get now so easily is a bad thing. I don't think we're psychologically ready for it.
I think that yeah, I mean the thing is every person in their living room or their bedroom can now effectively quote unquote be a celebrity,
Mm,
whether you are a celebrity on Twitter or on Instagram or
mm,
YouTube or Snapchat. This world of celebrity has now expanded from a very small niche area in which it was only subject to radio, television, newspapers, politics, or you had to in back in the days you had to actually become a king or a ruler of something to be
mhm.
famous enough.
Yeah,
Now it's like every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I think a lot of people are not ready for
no.
the world of celebrity. They're not ready. They think just when they put a video from their bedroom into the world that all the privacy, all the rules around your privacy still applies. Like no one can talk bad about me, no one can say anything
Mhm.
about me, no one can critique me because, well, I didn't put that out there for people to take the piss. No, I put this video out into the world because I'm so amazing and I wanted the world to know I'm amazing. And then they realize, oh shit, people, not everybody thinks you're amazing.
Yeah,
Some people are
exactly.
gonna look at you and go, you got a big nose, your eyes are too
Yeah.
close together, your
Yeah,
forehead's too big.
yeah.
Amazingly enough, people are gonna take the piss.
No kidding. I
And
honestly think that's the first thing people wanna do when they get on the internet is take the piss.
yes, yeah, and they don't. These guys, some of them, they don't realize. I mean, I literally had a strike on my video because I took a giant. I did a roast effectively of this Muslims guy's channel, and all
Mhm.
the characters on his channel, and he had my video taken down for harassment and bullying.
Oh, isn't
Uh,
that weak? That is
I'm like,
so
"That is
weak.
so piss weak," and
Ugh.
most of the stuff was vanilla, but nevertheless, I mean, it's just like, look, every person that I mocked was on his show live on, put their face on cam. I never
Mhm,
made in fact, there's a video of a child which I never even touched. I totally left that one on. It has nothing to do with me. I don't wanna know anything about it. It's like a day out in Legoland. But all the adults, I'm like, you're fair game. I'm just gonna take the piss because that's how it is. But this individual is so incredibly up his own rear end and
mhm,
so censorious. He blocked the reason I did it was because I was trolling in the text, and then they just immediately blocked me.
mhm.
Even before I even got down to my good trolls, and which was disappointing.
Yeah.
So before that, they just blocked me, and they've had now since then dozens. I mean, I've had at least 50 people come to me and say, "Oh, they've blocked me. They blocked me." So I
Mhm,
made my channel a place of refugees that have been blocked from that dude's channel,
mhm,
and so now I'm gonna go full on BitChute, and I'm just gonna severely take the piss. But it's just a simple example of like, look, you put yourself out into the world,
yeah.
and then when people say, well, maybe you're not as perfect as you think you are, you get
Mhm,
all pissed and you get all censorious about it, and you go after people, try to take it down, take their videos down because you don't like what people are saying. Well, I'm sorry, nobody forced you to put your face out into the world. Nobody
mhm.
forced you to stick your face on cam and say hello to the rest of the world.
Plus, if I don't like it, I just block or remove comments.
Well, they do that, but it's
I
not that they're
definitely do
happy.
that.
Yeah, they're not happy with their own channel. They came to my channel and blocked my videos about them
Oh,
on
I
my
see what you're
channel.
saying.
So it wasn't on
Yeah,
their channel.
blocking videos is so stupid and
Yeah,
just going after people and trying to shut people up and not let them say what they wanna say because you don't like it or whatever.
I
It's so
know.
so petty.
And this is an extension of this sense of self-entitlement. Not only the fact that
Mm.
they don't want anything said about themselves, then that expands further out. They keep extending it to, I don't want anyone say anything bad about my politics, my
Mhm,
ideas,
mhm.
my
Yep.
so on and so forth. And you're like, yeah, but I'm sorry, no one elected you God.
But these are to me, I consider these people emotionally weak. Because you shouldn't be so heavily identified with your ideas. All your ideas should be subject to change because there's so much information out there,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
well, the thing is, when you're talking about religious people, especially, they've already come from a place of conclusion. They
Mhm.
come from a place of my mind is made up. You know, there's a saying with these one of these Christian guys. He was teaching little children. He says, "The Bible says it, I believe it, and that settles it." That's
Mhm.
literally like what they're teaching little children. That if it says it in this religious text, whichever one you come from, then
Mhm.
that's it. That's the final word on it. I don't care about your ideas of, that are opposed to this. So they've already made up their mind effectively. So, and unfortunately, that's the danger of certain people like this, is that they come from a place of certainty with tremendous ignorance.
I don't know how people do that. I'm comfortable with I don't know. How about you?
Yes, that's a good thing. That's
Yeah.
what scientists wake up in the morning, and that's what gets them in up out of the bed and into the labs, is because
Mhm.
we don't know, because they relish in that zone, in that soup of I don't know. If it
Mhm.
wasn't for the I don't knows, then not a single scientist would go to work in the morning.
But it really psychologically destabilizes people to deal with that I don't know answer. Because
Mm,
ambiguity is uncomfortable.
yes, it
I think
is.
ambiguity is uncomfortable for people. That's why, I mean, a lot of the time when you look out and see how people discuss things or talk about ideas, they're talking about them in very black or white ways. It's like, what about the
Mm.
gray? There's a gradient.
Oh yeah, nobody likes the gray, because the gray then starts to put chinks in their arguments, in their armor of whatever argument that they built, because the gray is the I don't know, is the maybe, or perhaps could you be wrong. I mean, there are religious people who don't even want to entertain the concept that they may be wrong about their idea of
Mhm.
God or afterlife or whatever. And you think, you serious? You don't even want to like entertain the idea? Maybe you don't.
Mhm.
Like maybe you don't. It's not 100% there. But no, there are people who are that fanatic, and they can't. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to those big questions, when it comes to like, is there life after death?
Mhm.
Why are we here? I can understand why there are people who shake in their boots. They just don't want that uncertainty.
Mhm.
It is it is quite, traumatizing to think, like, for me, this was I discussed this with someone a little while back. For me, when I said that becoming an atheist or becoming a non-believer in God and life after, it's a revolution for one. No one
Mhm.
can help you. No one can fight in your corner. No one can do anything for
Yeah,
you.
no one can force you to get there faster.
No, no, nothing. No one can do anything. You have to come to these conclusions for yourself. This is why I
Mhm.
never say to anyone that I'm here to convince you of
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
I'm here just to give you why I am convinced of what I.
I just wanna find some mutual understanding.
Yeah, sometimes I like to listen to like-minded people in order to get some sort of confirmation of the things that I've been thinking. Are they correct? Am I just an idiot?
But I listen
Or
to the opposite too, right? Do you do
yes,
that?
exactly.
Yeah, I do that too. I get bored of listening to people who I agree with all the time.
I never listen to people I agree with.
It's just so
Because
boring. Like, yeah, I get it. We think the same shit. Like, can I
yeah,
get something different? I'm bored. I'm bored of my own views. I'm
it's
bored of this.
it's a circle jerk. It's a circle jerk.
Yeah.
You're sitting there
Mhm.
patting each other on the back, how great it is that you all agree.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
mean,
we do
I
that with our friends, we have to admit, we do that with our friends.
we do that with our friends, because I mean, me and my friends, like, I have a lot of friends from the Middle East because I'm originally, Iranian. So
Mhm.
I hang out with Palestinians and Egyptians and Moroccans,
Mhm.
so on and so forth.
Oh, much diverse.
Well, it's a lot of, it's like the OPEC nations when I go out with my
Mhm.
friends sometimes. So and they're still Muslim. They're still very much, into their religion, this time of
Mhm.
the year, they're all fasting and all that business. And I'm not. I'm completely opposite. I'm sitting there eating a, bacon sandwich whilst they're fasting.
Cheers, mate.
Like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. But, but when it came to, because I've been friends with some of these guys for 20 years,
Mhm.
and we just agreed that we would not discuss religion because we will fundamentally disagree, and
Yeah,
this
it's a good idea.
will our friendship. And so for that reason, we all agreed, look, you and I, us, me and them lot will never meet eye to eye in
Mhm.
this sense. So for the sake of our friendship, it's just best not to go there because we have so much other things in common. We have so much other, idea. Just we hang out and we have so many other fun things we can do together. This
Mhm.
one issue shouldn't be that critical. And luckily for them, they're not that crazy religious that they find everything that I do and everything we want to do together totally objectable.
Yeah, they're not giving you shit for being haram, eating
Um,
bacon and shit.
no. Well, actually, this is the weird thing. He didn't give me shit, but he kind of did.
Mm.
One of my friends, the one that I've known for 20 years, we were sitting at this cafe, which is ran by a bunch of Afghani guys, and they
Mhm.
do breakfast, English breakfast. And I don't know if you know about the English breakfast, but it's got bacon, sausages,
Mhm.
hash browns, all that stuff. And they do a halal one, which they use turkey bacon and turkey sausages and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's okay, but it ain't bacon.
Straight up.
Bacon is bacon. It's like
Yes,
good
exactly.
bacon. And I said to my friend, I said, yeah, I said, I wouldn't mind the breakfast. He goes, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, but I don't want it here. Let's go to like an English place. He goes, why? I said, I don't want this halal, turkey bacon and just this halal English breakfast. He said, oh, no, they do a regular one too. They do one with regular bacon. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Give me
Yeah.
that one. Give me the swine one.
That's the
So
stuff, though.
that's the good stuff.
It's
So
just never
yeah,
the same.
and I got it, and it arrived, and it was like proper bacon, proper sausages, and I was eating, and he went, "Yeah, enjoy that in hell." I said,
Yeah.
"Look, dude,
So,
just
that
let me eat this
state
bacon."
that state of your friendship where you all have that understanding that you're fundamentally not going to agree about something and you can still set that aside and function within a relationship,
Mm,
that's the next stage of evolution for human beings socially. That's
yeah.
that's how we need to deal with things. But yeah, have you seen people behave on the internet though? Isn't it crazy? Everybody wants to argue. Nobody's interested in actually trying to actively engage in conversation, like actually listening and being receptive and paying attention. Because people are always just waiting to respond,
The
I
internet
find.
is a slightly different environment. The
Yeah,
internet
it's
is,
the wild, wild west.
yeah, it is a bit more of hype, sort of hyper, sort of it hypes everything up more than it is. It makes mountains out of molehills.
Mhm.
This is why you have Twitter rages over someone making a very vanilla, benign, sort of dad joke, and suddenly the guy's getting fired from his job because they had some massive Twitter shitstorm come after him. So unfortunately, the internet isn't reality, or at least not really a good reflection of it.
Yeah, that's true. It's just,
Uh,
when you're there all the time, it starts to feel like it's really your world. Like if it really
yeah,
feels like it's giving you an idea of what the wider world is. No, it's just a pixel in the larger picture.
it is. It absolutely is. And
But it
and I
tells you
think
something about human beings, and that's the part that gets me, and it's how we interact with each other.
it does. It's a microcosm. It is
Yeah.
a
Yeah, okay.
microcosm of certain behaviors, and you
Mhm.
can truly see. One thing I found with the internet is there used to be, back in before the days of the internet, there were only two types of people that could be truly themselves: the extreme rich and the extremely old.
Hmm.
The old don't give a shit about what you think because they're
Yeah.
about to die. So this could be their last conversation. And
Yeah.
the rich are rich enough, especially those really rich people, to be called eccentric.
Mm.
You see, if
Yeah.
you're rich and you're talking shit and just being an asshole, they just call you eccentric. Whilst if
Mhm.
you're just a poor guy, you're just an asshole. And what the internet has done is has allowed people to be the inner asshole that they've always wanted to be, but could
Uh-huh.
not afford it and were not old enough.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so it has allowed them, the anonymity of the internet
Mhm.
has allowed them to be the true asshole within.
Yeah, that's quite a cowardly thing though too, isn't it?
It is, but the thing is, in the real world, yes, you're gonna have, you're gonna lose your job. You can't just walk around and just spout all the shit you want to say in the real world. You can't just go, you know, dude, I'm sorry, but today you stink of shit. Did you shower?
I just feel like how you behave when you're masked says a lot more about your character than when everybody can see you.
It does, because
Mhm.
we veil our intentions all day,
Oh my
every day.
god.
It's part of socialization, actually. That is not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
You
it's yeah,
go
it's
around being
advantageous socially.
Yeah, you can't just go around being 100% honest with everyone.
Yeah, it's true.
It will be disastrous.
Yeah, no shit. Hey, we have to lie in order for the world to run properly. Isn't that the
Yeah,
fucking wildest thing about growing up? You realize, holy shit, the world wouldn't run if we were all being honest because we're all actually really a lot more messed up than we like to think we are. And there's so many things that haven't been worked out yet. And we think we're so
yeah,
advanced.
yeah. Well, this is yeah, I don't think of us as that advanced. We've done a lot of great things since the Enlightenment. We've made a lot of technological leaps, but evolutionary human beings haven't really evolved that
No,
much.
right out the cave.
Yeah, yeah, we still are driven by all our baser instincts. We
Mm-hmm.
still are driven by fear,
Mm-hmm.
and all the a lot of the basic sort of needs and instincts that we have. We're still driven by our hormones and our
Oh yeah.
lusts, desires, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, to misinterpret this technological advancement with
Mm-hmm.
human advancement, sometimes I think we do. Yeah, we think that just because we have a whole bunch of cool gadgets, that means we're really clever.
And
We're not.
there's clearly a divergence and separation between the evolution of humanity and the evolution of technology because that's exponentially evolving.
Yes, yeah, that
In
is gonna.
comparison to us, we evolve slowly.
Exactly, exactly, and this is why we get caught out with things that we don't expect.
Mhm.
Uh, like for example, all the phenomena of social media and how it's affecting us on a subconscious level. How our behaviors are altered because of the way social media interacts with us. How we're
Mhm.
losing patience, and we can't concentrate on single things for too long because of all this mass media of just being bombarded with just thousands of bits of information from all different angles. Also, the fact that some people are becoming more depressed because they keep watching fake Instagram photos of people having fabulous
Mhm.
lives and fabulous things, and they think that these are people. You're the guy down the road is doing so much better than you, whilst the guy down the road is just a fucking liar with a good camera.
Perception is reality though, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
actually a very detrimental for young children who are growing up. There's some studies that are starting to pop out. Here in Canada, they're going to roll out this they're gonna try and Instagram is going to try in Canada to remove the likes. So you can see your own, but you can't see anybody else's likes. And they're hoping that it's going to help with all the, like teen girl suicide rates are pretty high in comparison to
Yes,
what they used to
maybe.
be. There's so many people who are feeling inadequate, like they don't have enough because they're seeing everybody's bullshit story about how their fucking life is amazing. And it's all
Mhm.
nonsense. You think
It
everybody
is.
is just perfectly psychologically stable who has everything. It doesn't have to, if you don't understand value, if you don't work hard, you're gonna have just this energy inside you that's never gonna go away because you're not working for things.
That as well, yes, yeah. I mean, number one, people again, they're getting immersed with. I don't even think it will help. It will change anything, even if they take away the likes, because people are seeing these images of what would they see. again, times have shifted. Back in the day, you used to see a celebrity, you used to see, I don't know,
Mhm.
Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt or some celebrity, and you used to see their fabulous lives. I used to sit and watch MTV Cribs like religiously when I
Yeah.
was, you know,
That's a good show, though.
oh, it is, but also it makes you very ungrateful of your life and everything you have, because you see these people with cinemas in their houses and stuff, and you think, "Oh, fuck my life, this is horrific. I'm living
Yeah.
in a shithole."
Aw.
So it can be, you know, on the other hand, I mean, it's two scenarios. You can either be tremendously motivated, like,
Mhm.
I want that life, or
Mhm.
it can actually make you miserable and depressed because you think, Christ, my life is a crock of crap. What have
Yeah.
I done with it? So it has like all these different things. Now, back then, you used to think, okay, this is Martin Lawrence, this is Will Smith's house, this is Shaquille O'Neal's house. You know, these people are superstars and untouchable sort of gods amongst
Mhm.
us. They're not regular Joes. But now, fake Instagram photos are making, you know, Billy Bob down the road look like a superstar, and you think that dude used to eat wall paint when he was fucking 12.
Oh my gosh. And now the stupidest shit you do on the internet gets you so much attention. Everybody wants to be that next viral video.
Exactly.
You know, I
Yeah,
hate the
yeah.
idea of doing this for the sake of attention. I think that's unhealthy. If you like it, do it. But if you don't and you just need it's such a bad form of validation, I
Mm.
think.
I think we're chasing ghosts in this sense. Like
Yes, no kidding.
these fake validations. There's a very good book that my brother recommended to me called the the monk who sold his Ferrari.
Mm,
It's a very good book. I really recommend for anyone to just take a look at it. Even the audiobook is available too. And uh, it's all about Buddhism. It's all about
mhm.
Shinto and Buddhism and various different things. But there's one little bit of it which is really, you know, it stuck with me, which is he says invest in things that will nurture your soul. And now I don't believe in soul in that sense, but
But
it
it's a
may,
concept. I
yeah,
know
as a
what you
concept,
mean. Mhm.
exactly. Not in this sort of actual ghostly thing, but as
Yeah.
a concept that nurtures you, that gives you internal nutrition
Mhm.
rather than things that give you fake nutrition.
Yeah.
Like for example, you go and buy an iPhone, that
Mhm.
will give you a shallow level of satisfaction because it
Mhm.
gives you that sense of, oh, I have a new toy, and I just, you know, I did some retail therapy, but it's very quick, and it's, you know, that sense of satisfaction is soon
It's
lost.
instant
It is.
gratification.
It's very instant and it's very short term as well, the
Mhm.
graph and everything around it. Whilst take that same money, take your family, your brothers, sister, mom, dad, whatever, go on a 3-day trip to some place. Go rent a cheap motel near the beach, or go to a short break out of the country or whatever. Spend that 3 days with your family and or the loved ones, whatever, family, friends, whoever is your closest sort of,
Mhm.
you will get far richer satisfaction from that time you spent with them and that place that you went to and visited than you will ever
Mhm.
do from that iPhone. It lasts so much longer, and it's
Yeah.
so much more nutritious, if you will, for your spirit. It's the same as food. It's like the iPhone purchase is a McDonald's of nutrition, whilst going and spending that time with loved ones and friends and family, and having that moment in time with each other is like a
Mhm.
big steak and some vegetables.
See, I
It's
think that's everything. I think other people are everything, and I'm big on friendship, you know? Like, my
Mm,
relationships matter to me a lot. I wanna work on them and make sure I have them long term because it's really hard to find people that you like. And then if you run into people who share your values too, that makes it a whole lot easier to get along as well. So when all
yeah,
those things line up and you find someone who in aggregate is really awesome, you have to put in the work and ensure that relationship stays in your life, right? So
yeah,
I find that way more valuable, like putting in the work into something like that, where I'm
yeah.
actually getting something out of another real person, as opposed to, oh my God, I worked an extra 40 hours today to buy an iPhone. That's going to make me happy for like 3 days because it's going to be shiny and then it's going to be like everything else.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, it's
Yeah.
synthetic. It's not an organic form.
Well,
of.
it's shallow. It's just as I said. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
If you need an iPhone, yeah, sure, go and buy a new
Yeah, of
iPhone.
course,
You
of
need
course.
a tool.
I'm a consumer too. I'm not gonna deny that I consume. Of
Yeah.
course I do.
But what I mean is, if you're doing that to fulfill some other need, then you'll find it very short. You know, it has shortcomings. You will
Mhm.
find it that it doesn't really fulfill the need that you desired it to. So
Yeah.
that's the difference. But of course, I mean, you can get that from many other things. You can get it from finishing off some art, expression of art that you wanted to do, some sort of art piece. You want to write a piece of music, you want to draw something, you want to make a video,
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever it is. These other, it's not just spending time, but what I mean is experiences. What it
Mhm.
was trying to convey is experiences fulfill or give you more internal, if you like, satisfaction
Mhm. Mhm.
than purchasing, and falling into this trap of, oh, I need to get this thing in order to feel good
Yeah,
about myself.
exactly.
And those were that was the one thing that out of that. I mean, it's a very good book. It's got loads of different good things, but that's one thing that sort of stayed with me. So every time because I'm a gadget guy, I'm an IT guy.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love, my brother and I are like opposite ends. My brother would rather buy a suit for himself or a
Mhm.
shoes or something. I would rather go and buy a graphics card for my car, for my
Yeah,
bike,
yeah.
for my sorry, computer,
For my
uh,
bike.
for my bike. So,
Oh,
I
you
do.
are high tech,
I
huh?
I do like motorbikes as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would rather go and fix or do something for my motorbike, or buy something new for my computer, or
Mhm.
buy the iPhone or the phone or some gadget. I do like gadgets, and I do, I used to spend a lot more money on things like that than
Mhm.
I ever. I mean, I wouldn't think twice about spending £1,000 on some computer gadget, but if I was to buy £1,000 for a suit, I would like, you must be crazy. I'm not going
Yeah,
to
I
buy
know what you
a
mean.
£1,000 suit.
To me, things like that seem silly too. Like, I know a lot of girls will spend a lot of money on, like, purses, but I'm like, "Oh, like, I would rather purchase clothing or books or something that's within, like, a reasonable range." Like, I don't understand all the crazy
Yeah.
expenditure on the clothes and
Well,
stuff.
everybody has their little
Everybody has
need.
their thing, yeah,
Yeah,
that's a thing
everybody has
too.
their thing. And what you would consider ridiculous to spend money on, other
Mhm.
people would be like, no, I need that.
Yeah.
I have to have that.
Oh my god, like, I don't know, where do you live, if you don't mind my
I
asking?
live in London.
You're in London, okay, so I'm in BC, Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
So here in Canada and the United States, every 6 months there's a new iPhone released, okay? People go to the Best Buys and all these stores that sell them the night before, and they set up tents, and they wait there,
I know.
and they just bought an iPhone 3 months ago, and I just find it to be the most disgraceful thing ever. Like, it's such a weird thing, like, people are using bags to go to the washroom. It's just so savage.
I
What
know.
a weird contrast of events, huh? Like, going to the washroom in a bag and standing outside for a brand new iPhone.
I mean, this is what I don't like. It, to me, it just seems insane. Even before I read that book, the monk
The
who
monk
sold
one. Mhm.
his Ferrari, I still wouldn't. I have never in a million years found an inanimate object important enough to
Mhm.
go and sleep outside the shop to get the damn thing. It has never been. It's like, dude, this is a commercial product. You know they're gonna make more of them, right? They're not just making like 10 of these iPhones and that's
No.
it.
And the craziest thing to me is, like, every year they expect to make more and more, right?
Oh
Apple, as a
yeah.
corporation, they're like, "Okay, we've made this many billions. Next year, we need to double it." And it's like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, it's not like, well, how many iPhones do people need?
I know, it's crazy.
I'm sure one of these phones lasts at least, I mean, if they didn't, with the software slow it down and do all sorts of
Mhm.
jiggery pokery with it, which I'm sure they do, some nefarious crap. But if they
Actually,
actually,
articles just came out about this, but go ahead, sorry, I'll talk
oh
after
no,
you.
no, but what I'm saying is, if they weren't forcing people to go and upgrade, most
Mm.
of these phones are good for 3, 4 years. You don't
Yep.
need to buy another one.
Yeah, you know what? I have an Android here, actually. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 5 that I dropped in a bathtub, okay? They just had to replace the battery for me at the Samsung store, and I still use it to watch videos when I'm working around the house or doing stuff. It's fine. It's like 5 years old.
There you go. I've actually got one.
What
Yeah, I
is
got a Note. Yeah, I bought, I think, a Note in like 2013,
it?
uh, and it's fine to this very day.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't get
great.
yeah, it doesn't get any more new updates from Samsung
Mhm,
because Samsung stops after like 2 years giving you
mhm,
updates. But it's perfectly fine for everything I need.
mhm. Your hardware just can't handle the software upgrades anymore. That's what it is,
That's what
right?
that's what they claim, but I don't know because I've managed to upgrade it by a little hack. Because I figured, okay, Samsung isn't going to do dick, and it's not like it's on the warranty or anything, so I can now
Mhm,
do whatever the hell I want. So I rooted it, and I actually upgraded the OS by one level. But
mhm.
unfortunately, yeah, now it's pretty much stuck at that level. It's not going to go anymore. Uh,
Yeah.
so it can be pushed a little bit beyond what they claim, but
Mhm,
um I don't know. I mean, in all honesty, again, like you said, it's like it's for what do you need it for,
mhm.
and if it does the job, then that's it. Because ultimately, these are tools. I don't look at an iPhone. People have like almost like a sexual personal relationship with their freaking
Yeah,
phones
no
and I'm like,
kidding.
dude, what are you? What are you sleeping with this one? Are you picking out rings or something?
Oh my
Like, what's
god.
going on? Siri is just the computerized assistant. It's not your date.
Yeah. You know what? It's very weird. I feel like as I've grown up, I've gotten a lot more detached from my phone. It used to be a lot worse where I felt like I think it was just because I didn't want to think or something. I just kept distracting myself from
Mm,
myself, and just would get easily distracted. Now I've been starting to get into the habit for the last couple of years of when I'm doing other things, I just put my phone in a drawer or put it away, out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
I can get shit done because the thing is so freaking distracting. Anything and everything you could possibly think of is available at the touch of your fingers. You know how this is like an unprecedented time in our history where you
It
can
is.
go on Reddit, you can hear some of the craziest stories of people's lives. Like people just spill their life stories on Reddit anonymously, of course, but that's kind of the cool thing about anonymity on the internet is some people really need help with some fucking weird stuff.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I mean, this is the flip side to anonymity. You
Mhm,
can say the things that you would never say to people you might be close to because it's too embarrassing or too awkward or something. So yeah, there are those moments where you can actually say, guys, I have this issue, I have this problem, whatever
mhm,
it is. I'm thinking about committing suicide. There have been, I mean, there's been a lot of people who have actually come out and confessed on like YouTube and whatever, saying, guys, I they kind of reached out effectively,
mhm,
and saying, I've been going through this stuff. I've had many conversations with people because I started. I mean, I'm old. I'm much older than you guys, and I
old.
started on the internet like back in the 90s, back in
Mhm.
with AOL and CompuServe
Oh,
and
AOL.
ICQ, and yeah, we're talking old school stuff.
I
Uh,
remember.
Dial-up internet, and I've been chatting online with people like since then,
Yeah.
and there's been many a times where we were in chat rooms and we were all chatting together and shooting the shit, if you will, and somebody came out and said, guys, I've just been depressed for the last 6 months, a year, and
Mhm,
I'm really thinking about just screw it, I'll just get some pills and all that. Initially we all started mocking him because we thought he was taking the piss, but then we
mhm,
realized, no, he's serious, and like, oh dude, come on, don't be
mhm.
silly, and you know what I mean. And then you get into those sort of conversations, and you start making plans and say, look, because when someone has some goal that's that they're going to do tomorrow and the next day and the month after that, they're not thinking about killing themselves because they have some shit to do.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
If you got something to do, you got to wait till at least you do that thing before you kill yourself. So
Mhm,
as long as you keep having things to do, you keep going forward, and eventually you get over this hill that this hump that you think that you can't get over,
mhm,
and that's really it. And then you just you start planning out. I don't know, whatever the guy wants to do, exercise routines, lose weight, do this, do that, talk to your mom, go see your mom,
mhm,
whatever it is. And there's been I was surprised actually how many different conversations like that came up over the years,
Yeah.
where people were really, really depressed and in a really bad place.
And they
And then
can't connect with anybody else, so they come to the
yeah,
internet, and that's where they connect with people.
yeah, and total strangers we were just chatting to them,
Mhm.
and yeah, we helped. I guess, or maybe we helped. I don't know because sometimes you lose touch with people, but I'm hoping that at least that was a step that they took that was good for them in the future. So this is sort of the best, good side, or sometimes the nice side of the internet, which doesn't really get publicized. People don't really talk about that. Nobody even
Mhm.
knows that this happens, and people may or may not have actually been saved from suicide. The problem is the thing they all talk about is, oh, bullying on the internet has created
Yeah.
so many children from committing suicide, and the young
Mhm.
people are committing suicide at extraordinary rates, whilst they never publicize how many people were potentially saved from killing
Mhm.
themselves because they had a
But
chance
that's
to
not
live that
sexy, though. That's not sexy. Who
life.
wants to
Exactly.
hear about the good stuff?
Yeah, who wants this is exactly what Bill Hicks said. Is that how about once upon a time we get a positive drug
Yeah,
story?
yeah. No kidding, right?
How come we always get the negative drug stories?
It just
Why don't
gets
we?
your fear response, your fight or flight kicks in so much quicker and unnecessarily when you're always hopped up on just negative shit happening everywhere all the time.
Yes.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's not like that. If you go out into the world, I mean, around me, it's a lot more calm. Yes, in the world, there are a lot of problems, but I can be calm knowing that near me, life is pretty good,
There you go.
right? It
Right.
doesn't mean I can't care about those problems, but there has to be a little bit of emotional distance because you do have to be able to look at things from a dispassionate point of view.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it all depends really. I guess it all really depends on what it is exactly. But yeah, you have to have a slight objective sort of view of something to say, okay, we can fix this, we can do this. It's yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't ever I can't specifically say that I've ever been depressed in my life. It's
Mhm.
usually because I'm too busy taking the piss out of someone online to really care enough to take. I
Just
have
having fun.
I think my depression has been overwhelmed by the overwhelming sort of instinct to just take the piss. I will mock myself before
I'm
I
the
get
same.
depressed.
So you said you were a lot older than me. What does that mean? Am I allowed to ask your age? Is that a rude
Um,
question in your
let's
world?
let's put it this way. I haven't told anyone online, at least these guys online, exactly my age, but we're
Okay.
talking uh sort of above late 30s, early 40s.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna put my cards on the table. I'm 31, so I'm not that much
Are
younger
you
than you.
serious? Oh my
Yeah.
god, I thought you were like 21, 22.
No,
I
come on.
swear I thought you were at least 21, 22.
I just talk like a dummy.
Damn.
That's all.
You come across as so
I
jovial
do.
and happy
Oh,
and just
jovial and
like
happy. I thought you were gonna say juvenile. I was gonna say,
no, no,
"Yep."
no. Jovial is like happy and
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky kind of thing.
Mhm.
Usually, like, young people are like without a care in the world and it's all happy. But then again, maybe that's when you come online, because I have heard that story about you and your gas-ish situation with your landlord,
Oh my god, yeah.
your
You know
cooker.
what? I'm pretty, I'm generally, yeah, a pretty jovial, happy person. I don't know, I like to be positive and happy. It just feels good. I went through so much negativity as a young person that you learn, like, I can either keep giving into this or I can just don't worry, be happy, and that's kind of where I go with it.
I see.
I just prefer to be chill.
How do you is your relationship with your parents good? Are you
No, 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 it's not good.
really? Did
Yeah.
they have I mean, I know you're of Indian heritage, but I don't know
Mhm.
if you were Sikh or Hindu or Muslim
See,
or anything.
I didn't have any denomination in particular, and my mom's side of the family was Hindu, and my dad's side was Sikh, but obviously in Canada, it's just kind of half-assed.
That's
So,
true.
my mom married, my father was an Indian guy, they divorced, she remarried my stepdad, and then I moved in with them,
Oh, okay.
and, everything was good until I was about 10 years old, and my mom and stepdad had their first son together. And you
Oh,
know what that means in the Indian culture, right? Like now all the
so
attention and love and all that shit's gonna go to the most important gender, the boy.
there is that. There is that. I have to
Mhm,
say. I mean, I never felt it because I'm one of three boys,
mhm.
so we were just boys fighting and trying to stop. My mom was just trying to stop us from killing each other most of our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah. Boys are hard. You guys are just little
Yeah,
rambunctious.
we were feral animals. I'm not even joking. If I went back in time and saw myself, I would have to kick the shit out of myself for being so naughty. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
we were animals when we were kids. Me and my middle brother, oh my God, we had epic fights. Epic. One time he ran after me and I ran to the bathroom because bathroom was the only door that had a lock on it.
Mhm.
And I, locked myself in because he was running at me with a kitchen knife. And my
God.
stepdad at the time said, I'm not joking. He stuck the knife into the door after you shut the
Wow.
door. Yeah,
Oh my
we
goodness.
were monsters. I mean, I'm amazed my mom didn't suffocate us in
Your
our
parents
sleep.
didn't beat you?
Sorry,
Your parents didn't beat you?
my mom. Yeah, she would slap us up right because we needed it
Yeah.
desperately. But then, as we grew up, we
Mhm.
became bigger and bigger, and she would hurt herself when she hit us.
Aw, poor mom.
It's like she would bruise her own hand by trying to discipline us. So she resorted to like spatulas and
Oh
coat
my god.
hangers.
Like every brown mom, I swear to God, that
Yeah.
wooden spoon is just
Oh, the
their
wood
favorite.
exactly. The wooden spoon
Mhm.
or a
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah,
Shoes,
shoes, definitely shoes.
flip-flops.
Shoes, flip-flops really fucking hurt. If they grab the end of it and they smack it
Oh,
on your
yeah.
skin,
Yeah, it can be a
oh,
sting.
it's so rude.
Oh, but we were. I say, I'll be honest. When I think back to my childhood, I'm amazed. My mom put up with us. We were so naughty. But what I was saying was the thing with your relationship. I was thinking, did you get because I got? I mean, for years and decades, I've been pressured or been. I'm still am to this very day. I had to fend off my mom this weekend about trying to hook me up with some of a friend
Oh
of hers
god. I
that are
hate
in their
that stuff.
30s. Yeah, about marriage. Marriage is like a like this ghost this cloud that hovers over me all day, every day, and I'm desperately like, "Look, I think I'm old enough to decide whether I'm gonna do this thing or not,"
I
and
know.
she won't let go. She won't let it be. How about you? How's things at that end?
Honestly, for me, the most annoying thing is visiting my grandmother because she's like that too. "When are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids?" And I'm like, "I don't want children, and I'm gonna get married when I'm ready." And
Exactly.
her response to, "I'm not gonna have children," is, "Well, then how are you gonna have kids then?" Because she's so old school and she's stuck in
Mhm.
a time period, an era that she just cannot get her mind out of. She's like 80 years old, right? You can't
Oh,
expect someone at that age to change their entire experience to conform to this new way of thinking. It just doesn't happen. It's very
yeah.
rare.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I figured maybe some of the sort of maybe some of the hostility or drawback that you've had from your family is probably because of that as well. Because I started to notice myself like, oh my God, I have to go see my mom. She's gonna grill me about why I'm not married yet for the next 3 days or
Yeah.
the next 4 hours. Just like it was like cringeworthy sometimes until I got a little bit of a reprieve when my middle brother, got married and he's had a kid,
Mhm,
and he's like more like settled down, and she kind of left me alone for a while.
mhm.
But every few, every I mean the thing is when I'm with a girlfriend, when I have a girlfriend, and there was a few serious ones where we were on the verge of getting married, and then I ran the hell away.
Yeah.
and uh, and those periods were good periods as far as being hassled about being married because he's like,
Mhm,
okay, he's got someone, it's all
mhm,
good. But as soon as I'm in between girlfriends, then
mhm.
it's hell to pay for.
See,
And
I don't talk to my family, so I don't have that problem anymore.
yeah, that's good. That's that's safe.
It's kinda nice. My whole entire thing was my parents were super my mom was fine. It's my stepdad that started being a big problem for me, and,
Really? I'm surprised.
yeah, I had a white boyfriend. He didn't like that.
Oh,
Yeah. Not allowed to have a white boyfriend
Yeah,
in
yeah,
my household.
I can
Um,
imagine.
yeah, I got the beating of my lifetime
Oh my
about that.
god, really?
Yeah, so I got
That's
kicked out when I was 14 years old, right? Because of all
wow.
that shit. So I've been just, dawdling along and living life, whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened with me. My parents wanted me to live at the house, never go out, being
Mm,
stuck in the house, doing all the housework, helping with all the fucking babysitting and everything, and then they wanted to find me somebody, marry me off, and
mm.
I'm just not that the personality who's built for that. If you try to cage me, I'll try to get the fuck out, you know?
That's yeah, I got that. I got a little, from your various podcasts and stuff like that. I was like,
Mhm.
this girl comes across way too independent to come from a from an Indian stock.
Yeah, yeah.
Something's not something ain't right here.
Yeah, I've
She
been living
wa
on my own for a while, like, I
Yeah.
handle my own business. That's how it goes
Oh,
here.
wow. Wow. So yeah, that is a lot of independence. You Christ,
Mhm.
you're living on your own, you're running your own business. That's like independence on top of independence because I'm just working 9 to 5 for a company.
No, 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 I don't mean I'm running my own business that way. I mean, like, my life running business, you
Oh,
know
I
what I mean?
see, I see. I thought you working
Sorry.
you like you've got your own corporation or something. I was like,
No, 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 no,
damn,
no,
this girl's
no.
all about
I
it.
shoulda just made you think I did, though.
Well, I wouldn't have been surprised. Let's put it that way. I mean, you come across as someone who would do that easily. You
Yeah.
you
Well,
you
that's nice, thanks.
yeah, in all your sort of talks and stuff, you seem to be the type that is going to you don't suffer fools easily.
Mm-mm. No. Eventually, you get fooled enough that you start saying, "Alright, I'm either gonna handle these fools or they're just gonna keep handling me."
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
No
It's true.
more.
It's true. So yeah, so that's so how did you come I mean, was religion a big thing in your household? Was there
You
any
know what? No, it
aspect?
was very loosey-goosey. Once in a while, my mom would go to the temple and, her side of the family is Hindu, so they always used to go to mandir and stuff, and once in a while she would go.
Mm.
Um,
It
and,
was
never anything crazy. They did send me to seek private school, though. They sent me to Khalsa school
okay.
here.
Okay, well, I mean, I suppose, in this country, it happens all the time where
Mhm,
secular. I mean, Christ, I've got a friend of mine. She is, yeah, I mean, she's Iraqi. Her kids are not really Christian. One of their sons is like a straight up atheist.
mhm,
He's like 8 years old, and she's trying to get him into a Catholic school.
mhm.
So he has to now go and get baptized. And the
Oh,
kid is like, "Why do I need to get baptized? I don't even believe in any of this crap."
yeah, yeah.
She's like, "Shut up. Just do it. We need to get you into this good school."
How do you escape that? So, tell me about you. Were you Muslim before? What's your family background like? How did this come about? Because you have
Ooh.
friends who are Muslim, so
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a weird situation. Now, Iranians, when it comes to religion and Islam,
Mhm,
Iranians wildly differ from Arabs. Arabs,
okay.
effectively, the Sunnis are the Arabs, and we're the Shiites, and they spit upon us because we're Shiites anyway. So most Sunnis don't even consider. There's quite a lot of Sunnis don't consider Shiites as even proper Muslims.
I see.
But in Iran, yeah, there's a big gap between the really religious and just totally non-religious.
Mhm,
Me, it's a mixed bag in my family. My grandmother, my mom, they both went to Hajj. They've both been to Mecca and did all that thing around the Kaaba and all that business. So they were religious, but always religious in their own way. Never pushed it on us.
mhm,
Me, on the other hand, I was born in the Islamic Republic of Iran, so I actually had to go to school and I had to pray because school makes you pray.
mhm.
I had to chant in the mornings, "Death to America" and "Death
Oh,
to
shut
Britain"
up right
and
now.
"Death to Israel." I'm not joking. We had to stand in queues at 7 a.m. because the classes start at 8. So between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m., we had to stand in queues outside, sometimes in the freezing cold of winter, chanting. We get like a sermon given to us by the principal or some mullah or something,
Mhm.
and then we would all shout, "Death to America, death to
Oh
Britain,
my
death to
god, that's
Israel."
awful.
Yeah, yeah, it's proper indoctrination. It's proper brain. It's like
Wow.
it's like Hitler Youth shit.
Yeah, no shit.
that goes on. And yeah, and oh yes, someone watching you put it. We had to get the snip snip.
What is that referring to?
That is referring to one's lula being snipped.
Uh-oh.
You know the lula, right?
I mean, I'm taking a guess at what that is.
Okay, yeah,
I could be
it's
wrong.
circumcision. For those of you who may not get it in the chat, circumcision.
Yeah, oh, yes, got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that I mean, well, that happens to every boy in Muslim countries anyway. But I mean, I was lucky. I consider myself very lucky. I was circumcised in the modern era, which meant anesthesia. I was on the general anesthetic and all that.
Mhm.
So I don't really have a terrible. Although I remember it. I remember, you know, the recovery period and all that. But what I will say is, my uncle's experience and my dad's experience were far more violent. It
Yeah.
was horrific. It's a nightmarish story. And if you like to hear that, you have to go to my BitChute account because unfortunately someone had my video removed from my YouTube channel when I
You
discussed
s
such a
you
story.
do still have a YouTube though, right?
Oh yeah, I do. They just took that one video down, and amongst that video is an hour long. I talked about my uncle's circumcision story,
Oh my goodness.
which is it's a thing of nightmares. It is literally. I mean, he was like 8 years old. My dad, 8 9 years old. My
Oh
dad
my
was like
god.
10 years old, and they did it in the backyard with a pair of
Oh my
scissors,
god.
and the mullahs held them down. Oh my, my uncle, my dad, and my uncle's parents held them down whilst they were doing it, and yeah, it's a fucking nightmare because my uncle, they held him down, and I say he's like 8 years old, so he can totally remember and knows everything, and he said when they cut my
Ah!
dad's thing,
Mhm.
my dad's face went as white as a refrigerator, as a sheet, a
Well,
white
yeah,
sheet.
no kidding. This is
Or it's like
ridiculous.
his face just totally changed color,
Why
and then
so late though? Is that part of the
I
religion? I don't
don't know.
understand.
Well, no. Sometimes certain boys, like me and my brothers as well, um, the foreskin is not loose. It's very tight.
Mhm.
It needs to You need to let a few years go by, because I was like 5 6 years old when it happened to me, and
Oh
the
my
same
gosh.
with my brothers,
Mhm.
because I don't know, it's a genetic thing maybe, but the foreskin isn't loose when you're born, and so they can't do it as a baby, so they have to allow the organ to grow
Mhm.
a little bit so that the foreskin loosens up so they can stretch it and pull it forward,
Oh, uh-huh.
and then they can cut it. So yeah, I guess that must have been similar with my uncle and dad as well. It must be a genetic thing, and so yeah, they were quite old when they did it for them. And as I said, my uncle realized after they did it to my dad that they're about to do that to him, and he
Oh
was
my
like,
god, that's freaking
"Holy shit, they're
horrifying.
about to do this to me." I mean, it was it's like those post-traumatic disorder type crap that comes out of war or something. I mean, again, for me, I never had that experience, neither did both
Mhm.
my brothers. We were all modern, hospitals, but this happens to millions of boys,
Yeah.
Muslim world, where, if you think about countries that are not that advanced, Yemen, Oman, what's it called? Mogadishu, where Mogadishu is. It's in Somalia, North
Mhm.
Africa, Sudan. These places, they don't have a lot of hospitals and things going on. I'm sure most of the poor village boys are getting, same sort of treatment as my uncle. So yeah, it's some horrific, nightmarish stories that happen. And to be honest with you, these were kind of the steps towards atheism, if you like.
Yeah, no
This
kidding.
was the yellow brick road that took me to, like, I don't
The
need any of this
wizard?
shit in
The
my life.
wizard in London?
Yes, yes, the wizard in London, exactly. I came to London.
But the thing I think of when I think London is Sadiq Khan, and I don't know if he's much of a wizard.
Oh, that guy. Oh, no, no, that's we call him Sadiq Kant because he can't do anything and he's useless. But yeah, he is. Well, I mean, the thing is, London is becoming. I mean, right now the white people, or the white native, if you like, English Anglo-Saxons, are a large minority group now in London. So the minorities, all the different minority groups collectively, are a bigger population.
Okay.
than the native white Anglo-Saxons. So London is no longer an English city, if you will.
Oh, interesting.
And Birmingham is said to be the same, except in Birmingham they're going to have a massive Muslim majority,
Yeah. See, I'm
and
like
they
about to switch my mind on this entire issue and get out of the habit of talking about it in terms of race and talk about it in terms of culture, because that's where we're seeing the problems and the clash, right? Is
it
between the
is,
cultures.
yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately, the race, unfortunately, does play because the race is connected to the culture.
Yeah,
It's
I
that
can
particular
see that
race of
too.
exactly that race of people. These were the natives who coveted or developed this particular culture.
Mhm.
So when you're, to say that you want to completely, separate the race and culture is difficult because it was the particular race of people who lived in this particular land who
Mhm.
then cultivated this particular culture, and we, or me, and others like me who came, we came because we liked this culture.
Mhm.
I didn't come, or at least, well, I mean, me and my brothers were children, but my parents didn't choose to come here because it was another Muslim country. We came here
Mhm.
because it was a non-Muslim country.
Right, exactly. So the reason that I'm starting to kind of see why it is a more positive thing to do is to remove race from the conversation entirely is because I mean, you have to kind of in order to get it that way, you just have to start leaving that out of the conversation, right?
It's true. It's true that it can, people have demonized it way too much. As soon as you
Mhm.
start to say, well, English people are kind of becoming a minority in their own country, they're like, oh, you racist, so and so. I'm like, no, dude, if it was Iranians becoming, less, if Iran was becoming less Iranian, I would have my own concerns too. So
Mhm.
it's not like the Arabs. You think the Saudis are not racist? They don't protect their own
Yeah, yeah.
Saudi heritage? Of course they do. They defend it vehemently. They treat everyone else like crap.
Mhm.
It's so easy to lose your Saudi citizenship. There was a woman I was listening to in an Oxford debate this morning who
Mhm.
lost her Saudi citizenship because she went on TV and she complained about women's rights in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They will, and this country is still arguing about Shamima Bingham, whether she should lose her British citizenship. She went and
Oh,
joined
that
the
girl, yeah.
enemy of this country and
Isn't that
fought.
crazy? It's tough though, right? Because I know she's a citizen and stuff, but she should be tried. I guess that's I think what I had ended up thinking about it.
The problem is we don't have the legal system to even try her. We don't even know what to try her for at the moment. They're
Yeah.
still ambiguous about that. So literally, we don't even know what to do with it. But what I mean is that this is one girl who went and joined an enemy
Mhm.
force, an
Yeah.
enemy combative force against this country.
Mhm.
We're still debating whether we should let her back in. This other lady, she just went on TV and criticized the Saudi regime
Yeah.
about women's rights. It's like a massive difference, and yet no one's screaming that Saudi Arabia should reinstate her Saudi citizenship.
No, because suddenly it suddenly becomes a moral relativist argument. That's just
Exactly.
how they are. That's just if that's how they want to do things. Well, no, that this is a human rights issue. Isn't that something that's an important part of our values? And if we want to let people into our countries who do not share our values, do you not see that the potential for the conflict that will arise out of that big disagreement? If your fundamentals are not aligned, you're fucked. Like there's just
Yes.
no getting around that.
It's I mean the problem is this is like one rule for them, one rule for us. It's okay if Saudi behaves incredibly against all human values, against, oh, it's the Saudis there, we already know that, because you see what it is, this is the soft bigotry of low expectation.
Mhm. Yep.
This is actually racism, where
Mhm.
we think, where these liberals think that those Saudis, or well, we know they're barbarians. Come on, let's not talk about them. We all know we know they're savages. This
Yeah.
is the mentality behind it, that they say, well, we know they're the lower level people.
Just
They're the
let them be savages. Everybody else,
exactly.
girls in cologne, just make sure you dress a little bit more appropriately. Don't try and attract these men who are raping you all over the place. No, 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 girls. It's up to you to coddle and cater
Yes.
to this fucking barbaric
But the thing
behavior.
is, this is the messed up situation. It's like the liberals subconsciously are telling us when they don't hold Saudi Arabia to the same standards as they do Canada or Germany or Britain, they subconsciously are telling us, well, these are savages. We
But
know
you're
they
talking
behave
about super
badly.
lefties. That's what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we're
Mm.
talking the blue haired feminists
Yeah,
screaming,
yeah, yeah.
get your hatred out of our campus.
Mm-hmm.
The Trigglypuffs of the world.
Truly puff, yeah.
They're the ones who are screaming and are subconsciously giving you the message of, well, they're the savages. We don't treat them the way we treat,
Mm-hmm.
civilized countries. And yet, when someone else like me or Tommy Robinson or whoever says, well, why are we letting savages in our country?
Yeah.
They're
You're
savages. He just
you're
called
not
them
even allowed to ask the question. So I just read a story today about how Mexico is going to start pressuring Canada to take refugees from Central America because there's so much gang violence over there. And people don't want to live there because they're dying, they're getting shot, their kids are getting shot, so they want to leave.
Well, I mean, this is the problem. This is another thing as well, which kind of these it's all these moments that exposes the left for the ridiculous, so nonsensical things they do. When Trump was, going about to be elected, all these celebrities said, "If Trump gets elected, I'm
I'm
moving
going
to
to leave to
Canada."
Canada. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Not a single one of them said, "I'm moving to Mexico. I'm moving
No.
to El Salvador. I'm
But don't
picking
you
up a
think
place in Ecuador."
Don't you also think it's funny how Mexico also does not want immigrants coming into their country because they've got their own problems, yet they can't apply that same standard to America? Like, you have to be aware of people who are coming in.
Well, Mexico doesn't want to get involved in that debate because they just want these people to just pass right through.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
So,
like,
hey,
hell,
Canada, this is your problem, right? And
yeah.
you know Justin Trudeau. He's such a bleeding heart. He's gonna
Oh,
find some way to accommodate them.
oh dear God. I
And I'm
mean,
not against it. I'm in a very weird spot about immigration because I understand we need to help people, but I'm also coming from this position of, okay, we want to help people, sure. We have to do that within some sort of reason. It can't be that easy to come here. And also, how do we incentivize countries to behave better? Because ultimately that's what needs to
hmm.
happen.
Well, this is the problem. I mean, there's several actual negative consequences for taking in refugees. Unfortunately, not only that is negative for the country, the host country, due to all sorts of other issues of overcrowding or what do you call it, the national health service or whatever sort of social services that you have are going to get the on put on this on strain. You're going to have all sorts of internal issues for the host country, but the country that these people are leaving is going to have a massive brain drain and a massive drain of human capital. So then you wonder why that country that everybody's leaving can't get any better. Yeah, because all their doctors, all their engineers, all
Mm-hmm.
their architects, anyone who has any reasonable level of skill, plus unskilled even people, are leaving the country. So
Mm-hmm.
the country is going to take generations to recover
Mm-hmm.
because your altruism is misplaced, because your sense of altruism of taking these people in is actually leaving their host country, sorry, their country of origin, in even bigger deprivation. It's going to have even more problems because you've just taken all their best, all their smartest, plus actually all their just menial labor workers.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's going. So the country is going to take decades and decades to recover from this. So it's not just um, a detriment upon the host country due to the pressure that it puts on the host country, but the
Mhm.
actual country of origin has issues as well. I mean, look, the problem here is that we have to balance that these people are leaving because of genuine refugee, like their lives are in danger.
Mhm.
There should be a term limit of how long they can stay until their country has recovered, so that then these engineers and scientists and the brain drain and the human capital that has left this country has to go back and rebuild that country once the political landscape has stabilized. But none of that happens in these countries. Nothing like that happens in Canada or even in Europe. Once you hit European nations, within a few years they'll fast track you towards a national, national, to become a national of that nation, and then that's it. You're never going back. And that's not that's again, it's going to have that detrimental effect upon your country and the country that they left, because these people will never help the country of origin.
Of
And
course, but at the same time, right? If we are going to take immigrants, we're also going to want to take the educated ones and the ones who are going to be able to provide the country with some kind of value,
of course, that's what
right?
we want. But
Yeah, of course.
what I'm saying is, you're then depriving of the country
Yeah.
of origin of all those smart people, and
But then the problem is those are war zones too. See, there's just so many things that
yeah,
it's like, well, the rope gets pulled this way in the tug of war, and then
yeah,
then it gets pulled the other way, and then it gets pulled the other way again, and it just seems to be in that perpetual state where it's just back and back and forth because there's so many complicating factors to the issue.
yeah,
It's not. It
yeah.
doesn't seem like it's a good thing for everybody, and it seems like it's also a bad thing for everybody. You know.
Again, this, they say the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
This is the situation with this sense of altruism. You want to help people
Hmm.
as decent human beings with good morals. You want to, help people, help. There was a video of a I think it was I don't know, it was a Syrian or Afghani or some dude coming across which country? I think it was either Poland or Hungary, and they were coming across to try to get into further into Central Europe and towards Germany and Western Europe, and they were running across a field, and some female news reporter, as they were like showing all these refugees running across this field, literally kicked the guy's leg and tripped him over,
Hmm.
and he was very angry, and that woman eventually got highlighted and fired and all that. And you saw this guy, and the guy had his children, his wife, and you think, and the guy was like very well educated as well. It turned out he was actually, I forgot exactly what he was doing, but he was actually quite a highly educated individual. So this would have been a benefit to European countries, whichever country he stayed in.
Hmm.
And it was also heartfelt. I felt bad that that woman kicked him, and he's trying to do something. So you still have those instinctive reactions towards a poor person or someone who's struggling to try to make a better life for their family.
Hmm.
But n- when you actually put it on scale of, okay, this person wants to make a better life for his family, sure, and I would love to help him, but to what cost? What are the costs to my family and my life in order to help this guy? And is that cost, you know, worth it effectively? This is the problem. You have to sometimes, like you said, take a step back and look at things in a very cold way, and distance yourself, because if you get too emotionally involved, then you start to, sell the house
Yeah, you
because you
can't
want to help refugees.
overextend yourself if you don't have the resources available to extend, right? Like with Angela Merkel, what happened? Just flood, like open the gates, let everybody in. That's obviously not the best way to go, but I don't
Well,
know. It's
Merkel,
hard to
Merkel
tell.
is hoping that in the next few years, all these refugees will get German passports, and then they will quickly leave Germany for Britain or anywhere else, for another country, because a lot of them, that's what they want. I mean, if this is why Brexit is so important in Britain right now, because in a few years we will pay for Merkel's mistake. Because most of these refugees will make a beeline for Britain, and will have no way of rejecting them, because it will be part of the European Union and will have open borders effectively. And so we can't say no to anyone with a European passport. And that's another part of the motivation for Brexit, is that we don't want to live with Merkel's mistake. Merkel, let Germany pay for Germany's mistake. We don't want to pay for it. And that's the problem when you have social services, when you have health service, when you have a housing benefits, and all these other social services, which we in Britain as taxpayers, we pay into this.
Of
This
course,
isn't
yeah.
free. This isn't something, it's not a blank check. This
Hmm.
is, we pay for the people who pay taxes in this country to have these facilities. Uh, and these facilities are really supposed to be for those of us who pay taxes.
Yeah, and I think
But
it's fair to be concerned about where your tax dollars are being spent as well.
well, yes, but
Of course.
it's just the fact that, I don't mind. Yeah, sure, you came to this country. If you shouldn't. I think there should be. This is the problem. This country doesn't have these policies. I think that if you come to this country, since now we're getting 300,000 refugees a year, um, then I'm sorry, I don't. I think we have to make it a scenario in which you can't use these services, these national services, unless you've paid tax for at least 5 years. So at least that some of that money that is required, you've paid some of that into the system, so that you can then now use these facilities. And until then, you have to, we should provide them with options of insurance and other things. But the problem is, most of these people don't have a penny to their name anyway.
Yeah,
They
it's
have
difficult.
nothing. So
They're
what?
coming looking for support, and that means,
Yeah,
from financial to whatever kind of support they
exactly.
need. Um,
We even have tourists. We have NHS tourists, like people who come to this country with their relatives who are residents and live here. They'll ship their parents or grandparents or whatever over, so that they can basically use the NHS over here, because we
mhm,
have literally no checks and balances or checks when it comes to using the NHS. It is free at the point of service.
mhm.
And unfortunately, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of this stuff. This is what I mean. These are all the elements that chip away at these services. So eventually, the country becomes the United States. You don't have any services practically, and you pay for everything,
Yeah.
which seems to be the model that um, the United Kingdom wants to go anyway. They're already partly privatizing the NHS as it is.
Well, I'm not super versed on how it works in America and too much how it works in Britain, but what I'm going to
Mm.
ask you before I have to leave for the evening
No.
is tell me about your channel.
My channel, at how should I describe it? It's it's commentary. It's a lot of just me and a few other fellas.
Mhm.
We get drunk either on a Saturday or a Friday night, and we
Mhm.
chat a lot of shit.
Mhm.
It's just, it all depends. I mean, I've done animations in the past. I've done anything that I find funny, I'll stick on there. That's my
Mhm.
my thing, is if I can make something funny. It's essentially, I don't it's always geared towards comedy. It's not too serious.
Mhm.
Nothing is taken that seriously. We do everything is tongue in cheek. And I and that's really it. If I find it funny, then it's going to get on the show somehow.
Mhm.
By all means, I'm more than happy for anyone to give suggestions on
Mm,
anything.
I'd come around for the first time hanging out, and I think it was Manny's stream, and I found it rather enjoyable. I mean, it's really nice. For me, it's like a huge deal to hear people disagree or hear people come from different backgrounds, just be able to have a conversation, because I don't think people are good at that these days,
Yeah, yeah,
you
we
know?
do. We do. I mean, me and the because I have a very different policy. Manny is a little bit more strict. Manny has a bit more sort of control over the guests. I
Mhm.
sometimes just throw out the Hangout link, or the I use this thing called Riot, to
Mhm.
the chat room, and anyone can jump in and just chat. And if they're funny, if they're good, we keep them around. If they're boring, we kick them.
Mhm.
And we just sort of do that sometimes, where we just yeah, we definitely have a segment where we do that. I don't I am an actual free speech extremist, where I actually don't care if you want to come on there and call me all the assholes on the planet. I don't mind. I'll let you do that. In
Mhm.
fact, one of the guys who is now a regular on the show is one who created a name called Wanksy Style,
Mhm.
uh, sort of parody of mine, and he started to troll me. So I said to him, "Dude, why don't you come on the show?" And he's like, "All right then." And now he's a regular.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
So trolls are welcome. We do
Mhm.
feed the trolls.
Mhm. It's fun to engage sometimes. If it's like if it's negativity in like a in like a fun way. You know what I mean? Not like actually just coming and being vitriolic. I'm pretty like I said earlier, I'm very selective about like people will come at me and say dumb shit all the time and I'm like, I just don't like your energy. Like I don't like this negative shit. If you're gonna be a cunt like this, I can't deal with it.
This is the weird thing. The person who I thought, because like Wanksy was trolling me, he was saying all sorts of really like messed up shit, and I was like, okay, well, why don't you talk to me? Come and have a chat. And once I started talking to him, we actually now get along.
Yeah, yeah.
One who initially started to wanted to piss me off, just totally went the opposite way
Yeah,
because
I
I
offer
didn't.
that too. I'm like, hey, if you want to talk to me, come and talk to me if you have an actual problem. I prefer that.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
change
yeah.
their tune when it's like a having a conversation kind of situation, you know?
So much easier to chat shit in text.
No kidding, right? No kidding. When you can't hear or feel any of their reactions at all, yeah, it's really easy to fuck with people and be a total dickhead.
That's exactly why Twitter became the shitstorm that it is,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
it's just a bunch of text
It's
and
just
people.
monkeys flinging poo.
It is monkeys flinging food, but we
Yes,
like it.
I know, it's ridiculous.
It's the monkeys flinging poo is the one that attracts everyone.
I know. You know what? I was talking about this earlier today. It's always the shit starters and the people who want to
Yes,
stir up nonsense that seem to attract the most attention. But doesn't that tell you something about the audience it's attracting?
it
There's
does.
something wrong if that's your go-to, if that is like 90 to 100% of what you're ingesting from the internet, you're all you're doing is feeding your brain McDonald's.
Yes, yeah, it's true. But then McDonald's is one of the biggest corporations in the world.
Yeah, that doesn't make it good though. Okay? It just means people are stupid.
Yeah, well, that is exactly it.
Yeah.
We got these people like the Kardashians, biggest franchise reality TV show on the planet,
Mhm.
because people like the McDonald's for their
They
soul and
do.
their stomach. People are as I mean, I was saying this earlier on with a bunch of other people on Discord. I thought, now this is something I think controversial in the atheist circles. I used to think, atheism is great and everybody should be atheist. Why, it's ridiculous. Why are people believing in these nonsensical religions? We don't need them. They cause war and problems. We should just get rid of them. And everybody's atheist, everybody's intelligent, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Until I went to Speaker's Corner. Now, before going to Speaker's Corner, all the people around me in my circle, in my work, everything, people who were graduated from universities, who had high, IQs, who did computer work or other very sophisticated work, mostly white collar people. And I didn't realize how much of an echo chamber I lived in until I went to Hyde Park. And then I realized, oh my fucking God, these morons out here need God.
Oh,
These
no.
people these people are not ready for atheism. Not everyone should be an atheist.
No. Some people
Because if
just don't have the hardware capacity for the
no,
software, you know what I mean?
no, because there are some people that if they didn't have the fear of God, they would eat each other.
Yeah, no shit, eh? As
I
much as
mean,
I hate to admit it myself, there are definitely some things that do come from religion that are positive. And one thing that it has on everybody is that it creates communities. Atheist people need to
mm,
get better at creating communities. Because
yes,
nothing prolongs a human life on average more than having a good social circle. And that's why religious people tend to live longer on average, is because of the community building. That is
yes.
such a special part of the religion, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, this is what I mean. It's the we atheists threw out a lot of the baby with the bathwater when they threw away their religious belief, because they sort of realized, well, they were so just they had so much disdain for religion. This religion had affected them in such bad ways for so many different things, that they were like, no, no, I just want to get rid of the whole thing. And a lot of the aspects of community, family values, I think a lot of those things were lost with that sort of bath that the baby effectively. And I think we should bring some of that back. We may not need the Jesuses and the Mohammeds and the miracles and magic, but
No,
we
these
do
things
need.
like family, the nuclear family, the community
Yeah,
building, these are things that are evolutionarily advantageous. These are good
exactly.
for us as a species. This is what has progressed the species. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily Jesus and the symbols and all that stuff around it. The central part is
Yes.
togetherness, family, and taking care of each other, and the golden rule, and that kind of shit, right? Just treat each other properly.
Exactly. Those things are unfortunately a little bit sort of lost in our society. So yeah, yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I think there are some people who are now beginning to realize those, although don't get me wrong, the conservative movement. You see, I have issues with them as well. See, I'm not a massive like fan of these religious Christian conservatives online either, who are hopping on about we should make abortion illegal, or we should do this, or we should do that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? They amongst with the problem is with their family values and with their sense of community, they try to slip in their religious crap too.
Exactly.
They're
And
always
that's
trying
the
to slip that in.
I don't care if you wanna believe what you wanna believe. I'm at a point in life where I understand, like, I'm not gonna sit here and turn everybody atheist, and some people feel a little bit more comforted in life to have just that little bit of a safety blanket, fine, whatever. I don't need to get in your face, right? In general, I hate religion, and I think it's done horrible things, but can't deny the positive things it has done, and if you're not pushing it in my face and forcing it down my throat, I'm not gonna get in your way with my shit either. Live and let
Yes.
live. That's
Oh,
it.
that would be yeah, that would be easier said than done.
Oh, definitely. That's an ideal world we're talking
It
about.
is. It
It's not
is.
gonna work like that, but it's okay.
Let's keep trying. Let's keep
Yeah,
trying.
for sure. And on that note, since it was so positive, it was really nice to talk to you.
It was awesome talking to you, my dear.
I
It's
hope we do it again
yes, definitely. By
because
all
I
means,
feel like we could talk about a lot of things for a long time.
absolutely, absolutely. By all means, feel free to drop by anytime
Yeah.
on the Banksy show. If you see me live, just come on down. It's the water is fine.
And what is the name of your channel?
Sorry.
What is the name of the channel? Is it
Oh, it's
just Banksy style?
Banksy style. Yeah, exactly the same as
Perfect.
my nick. So yeah, come on down. Amy K, I'm not joking. I have listened to many of your podcasts. Big fan,
Aw,
huge
thank
fan.
you.
You're, and also try to get on Manny's show as well. I'm going to talk to him and see if we can get you on there because you are
Wanted to have
awesome.
a free will debate with me, and I said, "Yeah, do it."
Yes, yes. We're big fans.
Oh, awesome. That's really great news. Well, it was great to have you on. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.